In this video, we're going to talk about why you suck at jump rope. Number one, footwear. Now, I know a lot of you who've clicked on this video are going to be like, footwear? What the hell? I didn't click on this video to be told what shoes I need to wear by you imbecile. But hear me out. Footwear is massively underrated and is essential for you to ensure that you're going to be able to jump rope consistently for long periods of time with a good level of comfortability. You don't want to be in a position where you're going to be jump roping for long periods of time and your feet start to hurt. You want to be wearing shoes that are comfortable for you. So the approach that I kind of like to take for trainers for wearing both inside the gym and also outside of the gym is wearing trainers that have kind of a padding towards the front of the shoes where the tip of the toes are, where you're going to be using most of the action for jumping. Secondly, avoid trainers that have massive thick heels on them. You should not be wearing trainers or sneakers if they have thick heels on them. And the reason is, if you're a beginner jump roper and your technique isn't as developed and you're still kind of jumping a bit flat-footed, you're not jumping on the balls of your toes, if you land on that heel, on the back part, especially if it's elevated and that heel has a platform on it, you are a lot more susceptible to injury than you think. I've seen horrible videos out there on YouTube. I can't remember the specific influencer, maybe I'll throw it up in the video, but she was wearing like really high top trainers and they had a thick heel on them and her technique wasn't great. It just wasn't great. And lo and behold, she starts jump roping and then her ankle twists in, and I don't know if she broke her ankle or strained it, but it looked like a horrible injury. And as a beginner jump roper, you do not want to be wearing thick heeled shoes to avoid that inevitability of you putting the weight down on your foot and not the balls in your toes and shifting that weight backward onto your heel and then essentially rolling your ankle. The second reason why you suck at jump rope is your posture. Posture is so important when it comes to jump rope. Now, people tend to usually do two things when it comes to posture in the jump rope. So the first thing that I see is people are either usually hunched far too forward, like you're not the hunchback of Notre Dame, straighten up your back. Or secondly, they do what I like to call the salmon, where their back is just like completely back and they're trying to use the force of their forearms to swing the rope around, so they think that they have to use their back in that motion to get the rope over. And that's just incorrect technique, and you're gonna trip over the rope more likely, and also you might even fall over backwards or forwards depending on how far backwards or forwards you're coming. So what you want to do is imagine that your body is a stiff ironing board. You want your body to be as straight as possible, and what that's going to allow you to do is just keep that consistent motion of bouncing on your toes without you swaying in any direction so that you don't get caught on the rope as it's swinging round in rotation. The third reason why you suck at jump rope, your elbows. Your elbows are too far out. It kind of comes back down to what I briefly just mentioned with trying to swing the rope with your forearms instead of your wrists, which is actually the correct technique. Most people tend to flare their elbows out way too wide when they're jump roping. And considering that the jump rope, if you have the correct sizing, is the correct size, you're essentially spreading out how far that jump rope needs to be in order for you to get a perfect rotation for your height. When the rope is tighter by you holding your elbows closer, it's going to have a lot more momentum because the rope is just not spread out too wide, and you're not going to have to exert too much force to get that rope over your body. Or over your head, not your body. Over your head or your body? So just for you guys out there who are just getting started, make sure your elbows are close to your body. You don't want them too tight to your body. You just want them close enough so that the rope is going to get a good rotation as you're jumping. The fourth reason why you suck at jump rope is jump rope sizing. Even though this is a widely known thing, it's probably the easiest mistake to make if you're first dipping your toes into jump rope. I know the feeling when you first get your jump rope and you see all these other YouTubers and people on Instagram and TikTok doing all these crazy jump rope moves, and you just open it up and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna start jump roping and do all this crazy stuff. But you have to pull back and you actually have to size the rope correctly. If you've seen videos of people like Floyd Mayweather, he uses a very long rope. But the reason he does that is because his technique is immaculate. His technique is just ridiculous. But if you feel like your jump rope is too big and maybe you're on a little bit of the shorter side, What you need to do is adjust that rope correctly. And how you do that, there are kind of two ways that I want to talk about in this video. So the first method is probably the most common one, where you put your foot in the middle of the rope, then you bring the handles up to your shoulder, and if the handles go over your shoulder, then that jump rope is way too big for you. You need to cut that down. And essentially what you want it to be, or where you want it to be, is at your chest area. So just where your nipple is, and you want the handles to kind of just be where your shoulder or your armpit is. I find that's a good size. I know some people say they want the handles at the nipple, but I found just to get a better rotation, just having it at the armpit is optimal. For me, you can try it for yourself, adjust it, play around with it, but I would say anywhere between your nipple and your shoulder is where you want your jump rope to be. The second method, which is a little bit more of an underground method, but there are jump rope YouTubers who have kind of made this technique a bit more popular, is by making knots in your jump rope. Now, for me personally, I struggle with this approach. I've tried it with knots and I can still jump rope with the knots and it's absolutely fine. And you might find for yourself that having knots in your jump rope is perfect for you. It's also a very quick and easy way to do it without having to go through the hassle of finding pliers and scissors and all this stuff to cut rope. So what you want to do is make sure that you're tying knots on either side of the rope, not too close to the handle, not too close to the middle. And the reason why you want it in those positions is that it's going to give you a good revolution of the rope. You're going to get nice and smooth rope swings. I'm still tinkering around with this method. Sometimes when I buy jump ropes, I find that the sizing isn't perfect always, but for the most part, all the ropes that I buy are just good to go out the box because I'm generally quite a tall person. But if I have a rope that is a bit too big for me, for example, I just bought a rope the other day and I've tied some knots in it and it just doesn't feel right. So I'm just playing around and adjusting it till I can get that knot system down, because as I said, it's a very quick and easy way to get started with your jump rope. And the fifth and final reason why you suck at jump rope is using the force. Too much force. Swinging the rope super hard is not what you want to do unless you're using like one of those crazy 5-pound jump ropes that look like drainage pipes. Most people can't comprehend this when they first start jump roping, and I was the exact same. That one swing is enough just to get the momentum going of the rope so that you can have continuous swings of the rope. When you first start jump roping, you're thinking, I have to get this rope round, so I'm gonna do everything that I can to get this rope round. But in actual fact, it's natural momentum that's gonna carry that rope around once you start swinging it. And you don't need to swing it really hard. You need to just swing it at the amount where the rope is just coming over your head and under your toes. Now for you, if you're having too much trouble understanding how much force that you should use with your jump rope, just practice one swing. That's it. Just go outside and practice one swing. Jump and then see if you can get the rope over your head and underneath your toes. That's all. And that's the correct force that you should be applying when you're ready to go and do multiple skips or multiple swings of the rope. You also want to make sure that your technique is dialed in your wrist, because that is where everything happens. Everything. Every single swing of this jump rope happens in your wrist. It doesn't happen in your arms. I mean, your hand, your wrists are connected to your arms, so it's kind of your arms, but don't question me on that, okay? Your force isn't coming from your shoulders or your triceps or your forearms, it's all in the wrists. Your wrists need to be moving like dials of a clock in a rotation, circular rotation. That's what's gonna give you a smooth looking aesthetic, because your arms aren't gonna be wide and flailing everywhere, and you're not gonna be trying to force the rope over yourself. It's just nice and tight and compact, and your wrists are doing all the work. If you're using, for example, a 1/4 pound rope or 1/2 pound rope, something really light like a speed rope, your wrists will, you just have to put faith in your damn wrists. That's all you have to do. Put some damn faith in your wrists. Don't disrespect your wrists. I know this title was a little bit bold, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm not someone who considers myself a world-class jump roper. I'm not out here winning trophies. But the reason why I started this channel, or the reason why I'm starting this channel, is because every time I'm in the park or every time I'm jump roping outside, I either just get people staring at me, just watching me jump rope, or people will actually come up to me and ask, do I teach jump rope? If I say things or do things where they may not seem right, or they may you don't agree with them, that's absolutely fine. There are plenty of jump rope teachers on YouTube that you can go and watch. I'm just here to share my experiences with you and hopefully grow and continue to become a better jump roper with you guys, but also share what I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years consistently jump roping. If you take these tips and apply them to your jump rope routine and your workout, I promise you, you will not suck at jump rope. And chances are you probably don't suck at jump rope. I know the title was a bit bold. I know that was a bit out there saying that you suck at jump rope. You probably don't. You probably just need to work on a few things. And that's why I'm here to help you achieve your jump rope goals.